Hey everyone, just walked out of the theater from seeing a little slasher film called Founders Day, and if you're wondering what is that movie, you're probably not alone out there because this movie didn't get a lot of press. There is a trailer on YouTube if you want to check it out. It was showing at our theater in Regal, North Carolina, so me and my son Troy decided to come over and check it out. New slasher film check. We were interested, and here we are. We just walked out, and Founders Day takes place in a small town. It's around election season. It's right after Halloween. They're having their holiday called Founders Day, so tricentennial. And all of a sudden, a masked killer shows up and starts offing people. And basically, the movie's kind of like Scream in that it's a whodunit, obviously, like a lot of slasher films. And, you know, there's a political undertone to it, although they don't get too political, really. They don't take sides or anything like that. So if you're worried about that, you don't have to worry about that here. It's pretty down the middle. Towards the end, the last part of the movie gets a little political, but nothing like, no parties are mentioned or anything like that. So you don't got to worry about that if you don't want that in your slasher film. You don't have to worry about that here. The acting's not bad. There's nobody I'm super familiar with, but some of the faces did look familiar, especially the one teacher. He's one of the town elders. He looks super familiar to me. I know he's been in a lot of things. I just can't think of his name at this moment. And there's a few other actors I've seen in other stuff. But overall, I mean, even the actors I don't know, the actors were pretty good for what they were given to do. I mean, this is a lot like Scream. It's a traditional slasher. It's a whodunit. I will say about halfway through the movie, without giving anything away, I pretty much knew what was going on and where it was going, and I was pretty much right at the end of the film. Is it super bloody? There's blood. There's some gore for sure. It's definitely R-rated. It's not overly, like, if I was going to compare it to like Thanksgiving, this is nowhere near as gory as Thanksgiving. You would agree with that, right? But there is blood and there is stabbing, and the effects are practical and they are pretty well handled here for a lower budgeted film. Again, I don't know what the budget was. I couldn't find that information, but I definitely know this was a lower budgeted film. It looks nice. The director does a decent job with it. Overall, I thought towards the end of the movie, some of the directing could have been a little bit better, but overall, considering a lower budgeted film, it does a pretty good job with the directing. I like the getup of the killer. I really do. I think it's a nice, the mask is cool. I like the getup. It's definitely something that could, if they decide to make a sequel, which I don't know if they're going to, it definitely could be an iconic slasher killer if it's successful. I don't know if it's going to be, obviously. Nobody can predict that, but I did have some problems with it, though. There are a lot of characters in this film. A lot of characters. Too many, in fact, I would say, for the story they're trying to tell here. And the movie is about an hour and 45 minutes long. And besides there's too many characters, I would also say this movie's about 15 minutes too long. This movie is one of those films that it should have stuck in its comfort zone. 90 minutes, you're in and out, and that's it. They try to add stuff in there that, to me, is pointless and it doesn't really pay off. And also, there's no sense of I know who the lead girl's supposed to be, and she's good here. But honestly, the film is trying to do so much, especially leading into the second half of the film. And there's so many characters that you can't even say she's the lead, honestly. There's so many characters getting a lot of screen time that it's almost impossible is she supposed to be the final girl? Now she ends up being the final girl, but it could have been anybody at that point. Like, usually in a slasher film, you have your final girl. It's set up pretty quickly in the film, and then we're off. And here, they're trying to go for a lot of different tones. And they're trying to be funny as well, satirical. I didn't think that worked at all. They would have been better off sticking like a little bit more seriously with a little bit more cheese and just stuck in that comfort zone of a slasher film. I think they were trying to do too much, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't land all of the time. And the comedy, when it did happen, I laughed a few times, but there was times where it was supposed to be funny and I didn't laugh at all or think it was funny at all. At the end of the day, this is a middle-of-the-road slasher film. It's nothing special. I mean, this is a film that you could have definitely seen going straight to streaming, for sure. They got a theatrical release. I respect it. I respect anybody that puts their time and effort into making a film. Making a film is not easy, so, you know, I give them all the credit in the world. But at the end of the day, this movie didn't completely work for me. It was okay at best. If I was comparing it to the last slasher film we got, Thanksgiving, this is nowhere near as good as Thanksgiving. Not even the same ballpark. But at the end of the day, I would give Founders Day a 5.5 out of 10. I would watch it again. I wouldn't buy it, but I'd watch it if it was streaming somewhere. 5.5 out of 10 for Founders Day. I have a feeling my son's going to give it a higher score, but I'll let him give you his rating right now. Troy, what would you rate Founders Day?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 for Founders Day. Did you like the mask?
Yeah.
We both agreed on that. We were whispering back and forth. The mask is pretty cool. Troy gave it an 8 out of 10. I gave it a 5.5 out of 10. It's definitely worth a watch, though. If you get a chance to check it out, watch this film. You see what you think of it. But yeah, that's it for this Out of the Theater reaction for Founders Day. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've even heard of it or if you plan on seeing it. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share this video. I greatly would appreciate that. I'll be back soon with some more reviews, but until next time, bye.